Shalom. I would like to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah HaKwadash. I would also like to give double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for passing down this truth. And I would also like to send a sincere salutation out there to the elect, preaching his word in truth and sincerity. Now, this is going to be a quick lesson. I just wanted to go into the origins of celebrating your birthday and how it's pagan and how it's idolatry, and you really shouldn't be celebrating your own birthday. Because really, when you really think about it, what are you celebrating? Celebrations I can understand for, accomplishments and achievements. But what are you celebrating? Just being born? You getting praised for something you had nothing to do with. If anybody deserves any praise, it's Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai for keeping you, alive this long, It's by the mercy of the Lord that we're able to see another day. But you see, that's not the mindset of the people here. People are so consumed with themselves and contemplating their navels and just obsessed with themselves. So they think, it's all about them. The world revolves around them. But again, that's the Babylonian mindset, you see? People are just enamored with themselves, enthralled with themselves. Like the whole world revolves around them. You got men and women that really look at their birthday as like a high holy day or something. You got men that'll book a whole photo shoot for their birthday. Again, I could see why women, fall into the mindset of, your birthday, because of course women, you know how they are. They want the whole world to revolve around them. But as a man, and you're into this whole mindset of celebrating your birthday and doing it big on your birthday, that's really a feminine mindset, Imagine being a grown-ass man booking a photo shoot for your birthday. It's crazy. But that's what we're dealing with here in Babylon in 2025. So I looked up on Google, I just put in, what is the origin of celebrating your birthday? It says the tradition of celebrating birthdays has evolved over centuries, with roots tracing back to ancient civilizations. Initially, celebrations were linked to religious figures or royalty, with early forms appearing in Egypt and Greece. It says over time, these practices spread and became more commonplace, eventually encompassing the broader population. It says here's a more detailed look at the origins. Ancient Egypt. The earliest recorded birthday celebrations were for pharaohs who were considered divine. These were more like coronation celebrations, marking the pharaoh's birth into divinity. Ancient Greece. The Greeks adopted the practice, celebrating the birthdays of their gods and goddesses. They offered moon-shaped cakes with candles, symbolizing the moon's radiance and deity's beauty. You see, this is forms of idol worship, idolatry. Ancient Rome. The Romans celebrated the birthdays of individuals, including common people. These celebrations involved lavish parties and gift giving. Medieval Europe. Early Christians for a time did not celebrate birthdays, considering them pagan rituals. However, the celebration of Jesus' birth, whose real name is Yahweh Shai, and the birthdays of saints eventually became more common, adopting Roman practices. Because you see, in the Bible, you're not going to find anybody celebrating their birthday. You see, you're not going to find the Apostle Paul, and you're not going to find it noted in the Bible, him celebrating his birthday. You're not going to find it. Again, this is just pagan, rituals. It says birthdays of saints eventually became more common, adopting Roman practices. It says 18th through 19th centuries. In Germany, the Kinderfest tradition emerged with cakes and candles marking a child's age. This is a key precursor to modern birthday celebrations. 20th century and beyond, which is where we're at now, it says with the rise of consumerism and increased focus on childhood, birthday celebrations became increasingly widespread and commercialized, particularly in Western culture. And that's a big part of birthdays in the times that we're living in now, in the year of 2025. Consumerism, you see? Because I know when I was a kid, I didn't even give a damn. It wasn't even about my birthday. It was more so an opportunity to get some money so I can buy new Jordans or a video game or just to get something I wanted. It wasn't even really about my birthday. It was just the opportunity that, your birthday gets you. Because here in America, people look at your birthday as like a big deal here. They reward you just for it being your birthday, which is really crazy when you think about it. But again, Babylon, America, is the revival of the Roman Empire, you see? So, again, all of this is pagan idol worship, and you're really not supposed to be celebrating your birthday. Now, if somebody, wishes you a happy birthday, just say thank you and keep it pushing, Somebody wants to give you a gift, whatever, accept the gift, say thank you, and that's it, Use wisdom. Somebody tells you happy birthday, you don't have to get into it. Oh, we shouldn't be celebrating our birthdays. It's wicked. It's pagan. Like, use wisdom. Like, you don't have to get into it with everybody. You don't got to let everybody know what you into. Look at it, treat it like Thanksgiving. Like, it's just dinner. That's it. We're not looking at it like this great big thing, and it's just Thanksgiving. It's just dinner. That's it. We had to eat that day anyway. You see, look at it like your birthday is the same way. It's just another day, really. That's the thing, when you come into this faith and you grow in this faith, you got to learn when to exercise wisdom. Now, let's go to Blue Letter. Let's kick it off with Exodus 20. Start at the top. This is Exodus chapter 20, verse 1. It says, and God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord Yahweh, thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You see, we're not to place anything above Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. So when you're out here trying to make a high holy day of your birthday, you're going off. It says, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord Yahweh, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto the thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. You see, this is why we're in the predicament we're in now, serving captivity under our enemy. You see, by going off and worshiping false idols and putting gods above our power, you see, false gods above our power, our true power. Now let's go to Job chapter 3. The header reads Job's Lament. Job's Lament. Job chapter 3, verse 1. It says, after this opened Job his mouth and cursed his day. You see, this is Job cursing the day he was born. You see, so this is Job lamenting on his birthday. Because really, this is the right spirit to be in on your birthday. You see? It says, and Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, there is a man child conceived. Let that day be darkness. Let not God regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. Let darkness and the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. As for that night, let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be joined unto the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Now see, this is the polar opposite of the way people feel or towards their birthdays now. You see, people look at it as like a glorious day. But here you see Job, the mindset he has towards his birthday, which is the right mindset to have. It says, lo, let that night be solitary. Let no joyful voice come therein. Let them curse it that curse the day. Shalakia. It says, let them curse it that curse the day, who are ready to raise up their mourning. Let the stars of the twilight thereof be dark. Let it look for light, but have none. Neither let it see the dawning of the day. Because it shut not up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow from mine eyes. Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees prevent me? Or why the breast that I should suck? You see, Job, he didn't even want to be born. He'd rather been a stillborn than rather than entering into this world to serve out his punishment, to serve out your captivity. Because ultimately, that's what happens when you're born. You know that you entering into your hell. You serving out your punishment. It says, why did the knees prevent me, or why the breast that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept, then had I been at rest. You see, when you sleep, when you're dead, because technically when you die, you're really just at rest. You're sleeping. But that's when you're really at rest. When you're in this world, you don't know rest. We don't know what it's like to rest. We out here in the rat race trying to keep our heads above water. You see, just taking it day by day. It says, with kings and counselors of the earth which built desolate places for themselves, or with princes that had gold who filled their houses with silver, or as in hidden untimely birth I had not been, as infants which never saw light. There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. There the prisoners rest together, they hear not the voice of the oppressor. You see, it's better to not even been born, you see? Because when you're born, you're faced with all this torment and all this struggle. And ultimately, if you're an Israelite, the curses. It says, the small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Wherefore is light given unto him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul, which long for death, but it cometh not, and dig for it more than for hid treasure, which rejoice exceedingly, and are glad when they can find the grave. Why is light given to a man whose way is hid, and whom the Most High hath hedged in? For my sighting cometh before I eat, and my roarings are poured out like the waters. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came. You see, in Job, he was in the right spirit. Right now, in the year of 2025, these people, they not in the right spirit, because they've been in America too goddamn long, you see. Their mind has been plagued with this, this self-grandizing and self-worship and all these things that Babylon promotes to you. Now let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 12. Start at the top. This is the header says Paul's vision. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1. It says, "It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord. I knew a man in Yahushua Mashiach above 14 years ago. Whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell. God knoweth such, and one caught up to the third heaven. And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body I cannot tell. God knoweth. It says, how that he was caught up into paradise. He heard unspeakable words, which is not lawful for a man to utter." You see, because when you're in the spiritual realm, with the Heavenly Father and Yahushua and the angels, it's complete divinity. You see, like it's like a utopia. The human words can't even begin to explain it. That's what he means when he says, not lawful for man to utter. You see, because we can't even fathom how beautiful it is up there. So imagine you're up there for 3 or 4 generations, then you get that call, Yahushua sends you back into the world through your mother's womb, just to send you back into this hell, for you to serve out your punishment in captivity. That's why you crying out when you were a baby. Imagine being caught up in the heavens, in the spiritual world with the Heavenly Father and the sons and the angels. You see, in complete peace and harmony, just to only get sent back into the world, to just get sent back to hell. You see? So again, what are you really celebrating on your birthday? You really don't understand what it is that you're dealing with. You don't understand the world that you're in. Again, it's pagan to celebrate your birthday. It's idol worship. Now, I'm going to end it here. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7 and 8. This is Ecclesiastes 7 and 8. It says, "Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit." You see, and that's plain. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. You know what? Let's go to the Good News Translation. I want to see how that 2 Corinthians reads in the Good News Translation. Is that chapter 12? This is 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and 1 in the Good News Translation. It says, "I have to boast, even though it doesn't do any good. But I will now talk about visions and revelations given me by the Lord. I know a certain Christian man who 14 years ago was snatched up to the highest heaven. I do not know whether this actually happened or whether he had a vision. Only God knows. I repeat, I know that this man was snatched to paradise. Again, I do not know whether this actually happened or whether it was a vision. Only God knows." Yeah, it's going off. It said, "And there he heard things which cannot be put into words, things that human lips may not speak." Yeah, It reads better in the King James, but you get the point. The kingdom not the kingdom of heaven necessarily, but the spiritual realm, the heavens, is so beautiful that human words couldn't do it justice. Like, even now, like, when we think about the kingdom of heaven, we can only explain it through mere human thought process, because we have never seen anything like it. You see, we can only go by movies and visual arts that we may have seen that can justify it for us in our human brains. You see, but the kingdom of heaven is going to be so glorious. We're going to be beyond blessed. I heard an elder apostle Tahar say that over their camp this weekend, how, Israelites, we're going to be so blessed. Like, we're going to be beyond blessed. Like, and that's really what it's going to be like. Like, we're going to be in the kingdom of heaven, just reflecting on where we are now and where we came from. It's going to be so glorious. Like, you can't even put it into words, But, Salakia, I'm going on a tangent. But, again, celebrating your birthday is idolatry and it's pagan, and you're going off for celebrating your birthday. Now, if somebody wants to wish you a happy birthday or give you a gift, just say thank you and keep it pushing. You don't got to get into it with everybody and let everybody know what you're involved in. It's like, how people get, when you first come into this truth, you don't really have wisdom like that. So you want to try and tell everybody of how celebrating your birthday and Christmas and all of this is pagan, it's wicked, it's idolatry. You're going to be destroyed for doing it. You ain't even got to do all that. When people wish you a happy birthday, or like when people say to me like, oh, Merry Christmas or Happy Thanksgiving, I just say, yeah, same to you, and keep it pushing. Like, you don't have to get into it with everybody. Not everybody is deserving of knowing the knowledge that you have. You see, but that comes with wisdom and experience, So, Lord's will, you got something out of it. Hopefully this was edifying. Till the next time, Shalom.